I hope you have heard about Linux and Linux shells. Okay, in case not, please do watch the video till the very end in order to get a basic understanding what are Linux shells, because these are very important from the examination point of view. Okay, so let's get started. So Linux shells are basically some sort of interfaces which enables you to execute some programs using command line interface, because basically command line interface works in Linux, okay, and the shell scripts are executed using them. Okay, so such sort of shell scripts are there in the Linux. So we would discuss about the type of, first of all, shells in Linux. So what is a shell in Linux or Unix? A shell provides you with an interface to the Unix system. I would be using the terms Linux and Unix interchangeably because more or less they are similar type of operating systems. Okay. So a shell provides you with an interface to the Unix system. Shell is an environment in which we can run our commands, programs and shell scripts. So there are shell scripts like for any task, like if you want to add two numbers, a very basic thing, or if you want to add a device to the system, or you want to take a backup from the system. There are various kind of shell scripts for each task. In order to execute those shell scripts, we need to have an environment in which we can run our command. Those commands would execute the shell scripts to perform the task. The commands can be executed in a specific environment. That environment is known as the shell. Okay, so shell is an environment in which we can run our commands, programs and shell scripts. There are different flavors of a shell. Each flavor of shell has its own set of recognized commands and functions. So there are different flavors of the shell. There are different types of shell. Okay. So what is a shell prompt? As soon as you enter into the Linux, you get some sort of prompt like this, as you can see on the screen. Okay. You get some sort of prompt with a dollar sign maybe or a percentile sign. So that is known as a shell prompt. So the prompt dollar, which is called the command prompt, is issued by the shell. While the prompt is displayed, you can type a command. So whenever you just open up the Linux, you encounter with its shell in which you can give the commands. As soon as you enter into the shell of Linux, you get a dollar sign which indicates that now you can actually type your command. Okay, so that is the meaning of shell prompt, that it prompts you that you can type your command. Then shell reads your input after you press enter. You type a command and you press enter. So the shell reads your input. It determines the command you want to execute by looking at the first word of your input. So it looks at the first word of your input. Okay, and what is a word? A word is an unbroken set of characters. Okay, so even a command can be long, consisting of many words. So it reads word by word. Okay, and it executes accordingly. Like we have an example, we get a dollar shell prompt and we type a command date. Okay, so the date of the system gets executed. Okay, it shows you the date of the system. Fine. Next is the type of shells in Linux. Now we know what is a shell. The types of shells are, the first one is Bourne shell. The dollar character is the default prompt on this Bourne shell. Okay, you get a dollar character. So there are various subcategories of the Bourne shell. You need not go into deep, just remember the names so that you can work out in the examination. Okay. So the types of Bourne shell are Bourne shell and short form is SH. For Korn shell, KSH. For Born Again shell, it is Bash. These are the Bash files. Then the POSIX shell, which is SH. Okay, once again. Then we have the second type of shell, which is the C shell. The percentile character is the default prompt. So dollar is the default prompt for a Bourne shell, while percentile is for the C shell. Right. Then we have some subcategories of the C shell, which are the C shell, CSH or 10x or top C shell, which is TCSH. Please note that Bourne shell was the first shell to appear on Unix systems, and thus by default it is being referred to as the shell. So whenever someone tells you the shell, it is actually by default referring to the Bourne shell. Next comes what are shell scripts. So the basic concept of a shell script is a list of commands which are listed in order of execution. A good shell script will have comments preceded by hash sign describing the steps. Okay, so there are various steps, like we want to add a number, we want to perform any task, so we write a script for that. Okay, suppose the script consists of 10 lines. Now you don't want to just type those 10 lines again and again, so you form a script file. Okay, and that can be accessed using a command. Okay, so that's how work is done on the Unix systems or Linux system. You type a command, that command executes a shell script. Okay, and shell script is just a program to execute any task, like you write down any programs in C, Java, .NET and all. Similarly for the shell programming, okay, the shell scripts are being made using those programs. They consist of those programs. Like there are conditional tests such as value A is greater than value B, loops allowing us to go through massive amounts of data, files to read and store data, and variables to read and store data. Okay, so the script may include all such kind of functions, the arithmetic functions or any sort of file management functions that can be done using the shell scripts, and those shell scripts can be accessed or invoked through commands over Unix. So I hope you got a basic idea of how shell works on Linux and what are the type of shells. That's pretty much enough for your examination. Please do hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and in case you like the video, please do like and comment, and we are just waiting for your comments. So in order to get more such information and in order to get a written document on all this which I have explained in the video, please do click on the link below or join our Telegram channel, on which we are providing all sort of informations like this. Okay, so I wish you happy learning and stay tuned.